Since we were negative in our last video about all the worst things in Assassin's Creed, link in the description, I thought let's be positive for once in our lives. Also, I talked a lot about birds for some reason. Today we will be going over what I believe is the best part about each game in the series. Just so you are aware, this is simply my opinion, and also there will be spoilers for all mainline AC games. So let's stop horsing around and get into it. No, I promise there won't be any horse related puns or terrible jokes for the rest of the video. Valhalla is not my favorite game in the series. Being negative already, aren't I? However, there's definitely something they did right in this game, and it's the modern day. It's not perfect, but at least there is something intriguing going on in the modern day while we traipse across England, Norway, and Vinland. The modern day crew are trying to stop a second large catastrophe that Desmond only slowed down in AC3. Darby McDevitt and his writing team also managed to bring most of the stories from previous games all into one, which was a mammoth task, as some of the previous games had really gone wild with the lore. The reason this is such a big positive for me is that the modern day hasn't really been important or exciting since AC3. They all felt watered down because a lot of players don't care about it. But the modern day is essential, as I said in my video, the truth about modern day, and the best parts of the story are when the modern day intertwines with the ancient story. You see, the thing about Odyssey is, I absolutely hate this game, but I also love it. I cannot explain to you why this is, but I'm resisting the urge to plug another video so early on in this one. But I did make a video about this very topic. No matter how many bad things I say about this game, I still have a silly amount of fun running around ancient Greece every time I play through this game. As much as I hate it lore-wise, I can't help but have fun teleporting around, assassinating guards with these super OP assassin abilities, or Sparta kicking fools off a cliff. The world is a vibrant, beautiful map that is just a joy to exist in. There's no other way to say this apart from the game is so very fun, and I think that's the very best part about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Bayek is an amazing protagonist, one of the best in the series. His wife Aya is also a great character. I wish we had got to see more of her, and was arguably more important to the creation of the Hidden Ones than Bayek. Origins has many positives, but the fact that the protagonist is so believable with one of the best voice acting parts I have ever heard is a huge part of why this game is one of my favorites in the series. Bayek and Aya make a great team even after growing apart in the end. There's just something relatable about both of them that really draws me in, and I cannot imagine this game with any other characters. As with many of the games in this series, there is a list of flaws a mile long for Syndicate. And although I think its original vision could have been even better than what we got, I still believe the world of Syndicate is its best feature. The recreation of London, aside from being a bit too vibrant for the time, is absolutely immaculate. From the belching chimneys of factories to cobbled streets and bridges, everything just feels so real. It really does feel like you're in industrial London driving carriages across the Thames. This game still looks better than some of the games releasing now. Obviously better than Gollum anyway. And when it rains, oh my god is it immersive. I live in the UK now, am I allowed to make a it always rains in the UK joke? Enjoying the video? Why not be a fratello mio and slap that like button for me? Helps the channel out a bunch. Thanks, I truly appreciate it. Unity? Well, it has to be the actual gameplay of this game. While the combat is not my favorite, everything else is incredibly fun. The stealth in this game, while kinda broken if you abuse smoke bombs, is a lot of fun. It feels good to sneak around the black box missions and assassinate people in unique ways. The tools you have at your disposal are a lot of fun and make you feel like a real badass assassin. My favorite has to be the Phantom Blade, which can quite quickly fire bolts. It is a great way of dealing with enemies at range or ones who spot you when you didn't know they were there. The parkour is another standout feature of this title, with the introduction of up and down parkour buttons that revolutionized parkour, until they dumbed it down Syndicate for some reason, and then completely ignored it from then on out. It is the most stylish parkour in the series, and pulling off advanced moves gives you an amazing feeling. It can be hard to master, but once you put in the work, it is very rewarding. Okay, this is going to sound like a strange answer, but the best part about Rogue is that they tried something new. It didn't pay off and probably scared them away from ever trying something outside the box again, but at least they did try. Rogue was let down by its writing, which instead of giving us a nuanced look into both the Templars and the Assassins, we got assassins poisoning innocent citizens, blowing up entire cities and not apologizing for any of it. Just acting like criminals. It just went way too far and made no sense whatsoever. But this was meant to be something positive about Rogue, so what I'm saying is the idea was good. It had great potential, but it was never realized. I am happy they tried to tell the story from a different perspective, and while I like Shay, his actions make sense, but the actions of almost everyone else do not. Yay! Positivity! Yeah, I'm not doing very well on this entry, am I? Edward is a strange choice for the protagonist of an Assassin's Creed game. Well, not strange, but as he only becomes an assassin by the end of the game, leaving you playing as a pirate for the majority of the story, is an interesting choice. But the thing it does perfectly is the writing of Edward's character arc, from a selfish pirate out for his own good into an assassin who does things for the greater good. Edward was a privateer in the Royal Navy until the end of the British War with Spain. Many privateers found themselves out of work with no way to feed their families, and many, like Edward, turned to piracy as they felt abandoned by their country. Edward starts the game out as a cocky, self-assured pirate who will do anything to acquire riches and fame. It takes the entire game, but as Edward loses everything and everyone he's ever loved, he reflects on his life of selfishness. Edward eventually swears fealty to the assassins. It is just beautiful to see Edward slowly learn as he learns his way is getting everyone killed, and even with riches and fame, he is still not happy. I think finding out he has a daughter is probably the thing that saved him the most. Edward's arc is the best thing in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and makes him a memorable and well-written character. Okay, I'll be honest, I like this game, but I really did have trouble coming up with the best thing about Assassin's Creed. It's a game that's all just a bit bland in a lot of areas. However, I did come to a decision. The Homestead. The Homestead is an interesting place, and I like that you get to slowly develop relationships with the people that live there. While some of the missions are not always the most enjoyable, I still felt like it was impactful, and like it was really building up this place to be a great little community. The characters feel real, and I mean, you even help a lady give birth, so there's a wide variety of content to do here. The best part of Revelations has to be the ending, how the plot wraps up Ezio's story with him connecting through the ages with Altair and Desmond. Firstly, we have an absolutely beautiful moment between Ezio and Sofia as they make their way up to Masyaf Castle. Ezio explains the creed in the most elegant way I have ever heard and helps Sofia understand the paradox in the creed.
To say that nothing is true is to realize that the foundations of society are fragile, and that we must be the shepherds of our own civilization. To say that everything is permitted is to understand that we are the architects of our actions, and that we must live with their consequences, whether glorious or tragic.
It's also very cool to be revisiting Masyaf after Ezio has gained a better understanding of Altair's journey and his own purpose. We head down with Ezio into the library, lighting the torches as we go down, finding Altair and his final memory. In the memory, Altair walks down into the library himself, putting out those same torches as he seals himself and the apple inside the library. The camera pans around Altair as he sits down one final time and slowly reveals Ezio kneeling in front of him, one of the most chilling moments in gaming. I will never forget how I felt the first time I saw all of this. It only gets better, as Ezio finds the apple and refuses to use it himself. He then talks directly to Desmond through time, which even now sends shivers down my spine. A powerful message he sends to his descendant as he removes his armor, finally realizing his time as an assassin is over. That the message he carries he was never meant to understand, but was only a conduit meant to deliver it to Desmond in the modern day. He places his hand on an imaginary Desmond and asks him to listen. Jupiter and Isu then talks directly to Desmond and explains the end of the world event he is hoping they can stop, and we get to see what happened to the Isu themselves. Desmond then finally wakes up, his mind has been put back together. I don't really know how to explain how great this ending is, but I think it might be one of my favorite in all of gaming, and maybe even media as a whole. It's just simply fantastic. The side content in Brotherhood is probably the best in the series. There is just so much to do and it all matters and feels meaningful. The problem with most side content is that it feels disconnected from the main game and feels trivial as a result. There are the Christina missions where we get to visit old memories of Ezio's to see his relationship with Christina, Leonardo's war machines as we hunt down and destroy Templar weapons, the Lairs of Romulus are combat and parkour challenges that lead to 6 keys to unlock a special armor set, Templar agents, shop quests, assassination missions, and the thief assignments, just to name a few, are all spectacular and fun. They feel worthwhile, which is something I can't say for a lot of other entries side quests. Some are okay, but Brotherhood's are phenomenal. I mean, come on, it has to be Ezio. Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Yes, again, that is my best pronunciation. Alright, give me a break. Ezio is a special character that means a lot to me, and this was his introductory game, and also the first game I played in the series all the way back when it first released. I was much younger then, obviously, and didn't really understand much about the overarching story or themes, but I did know one thing. Ezio was a fucking badass. He is charismatic, passionate, loving and caring, and just someone who gets the job done. His personality grows during AC2, as he is shaped by all the people around him, but he never loses that Ezio spark. I had only known him a short while when his brothers and father were taken from him, but I felt it all the same. I felt every stab as he exacted revenge on Uberto, and the speech he made after was so very impactful on even a young me. Ezio grows into a formidable warrior and into an even better person as the game progresses, and by the end he is able to deliver an even more important and touching speech. Ezio is a fantastic character and is without a doubt the best part about AC2. The thing I think the original game in the series has done better than every other entry is the discussion of the Creed. During every confession, the Templars challenge Altair's morals and the ethics of the creed he follows. It is also great to see Altair change and grow as the game goes on. He slowly learns the shortcomings of the creed and learns to discuss them better. The creed has an obvious contradiction, nothing is true, which would make its own statement false. This is explored in all of the confession scenes within the game and slowly help reveal the larger story. If you want to see more Assassin's Creed content, please click on one of the videos on screen now, subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any uploads, and slap that like button to help grow the community. You know, one thing I learned while writing this list is that it's much easier to talk about things being bad than it is to talk about them being good. Maybe that's just human nature. And with that depressing thought, I'm going. You're welcome. Sticks out.